Hello and welcome back. Right where we left off. Can't remember if I read this or not, so I'll do it again. Kindly Shang slowly turns, directs her attention to you. Her voice remains coyly sweet. I count little Gobbit here amongst my most resourceful runners, but I admit it's good to have outside validation from time to time. The look of gratitude from the young rat shaman is deeply sincere and exceedingly brief. Kindly Shin lowers and her nostrils flare. And now that you've shared that valuable little tidbit, perhaps you would be so kind as to keep your fucking mouth shut until you are spoken to. Can you do that for me? Nod yes. I do appreciate it, dear. Now, my darlings, I understand from little rat shit here that you came from Seattle to meet with my client, Mr. Black. His jaws tighten at the word client. Before you could find him, the HKPF started splattering grey matter everywhere, and everything went to shit. And now you need your sim burned, so that you can disappear before you end up dead too. Is that right? Yes, ma'am. Very good. Name's Wu. Have you got a first name, Wu? Profession? I mean, you do want me to erase your identities, don't you, dear? I need to know who you are first. No choice in the matter. Kenny. Kind of a close combat specialist. The magical kind. You like to get up close and personal with your killing. And how did you become an adept, Kenny? Well, you've got a few lies here and there, but this strikes me as a woman you don't really want to lie to. Picked it up young. Been in the cooler for a few. Still can't believe it. Kindly Shang whips her head towards Wu. Nasty retort already on her lips, but then she stops. Sticks out her lower lip and sizes him up. She turns to her lieutenant standing behind her, nodding her approval. Looks like the gun show is in town. What's your name, gun show? Duncan Wu. I'm a cop, Lone Star. I hear that there were some fresh corpses found on the docks tonight. Smugglers, I believe. Didn't sound like the Hong Kong police when I heard about it. You're doing Duncan Wu? It's gonna come back on us? I identified myself as Lone Star, but they wouldn't stand down. They had weapons. It was self-defense. I don't care, sweetie. They want my people. But now I know you're a life taker, Mr. Gunshow. You and your friend here. Well, it's better than them being her people. Now I'm curious. Why were you meeting Raymond Black on the docks tonight? He's our foster father. Once again, not a woman I'd like to lie to. This actually makes her pause. Shang lifts her bottle of swill and eyes the label, connecting the dots in her own head. Interesting. A look of disgust passes over her face. Sorry, kids, but he was looking like shit when I saw him. Eyes half open, dark circles around them, dragging his feet the whole bit. Your foster daddy was in a bad place. Sounds like he wasn't sleeping. Could be. From what I said, it sounded like he was having nightmares. He would stop in the middle of a sentence and then mutter something to himself. One time it was about the walls breathing or something. Another time it was about teeth. Thousands of teeth. I remember him drifting off near the end of our meeting. It looked like he was somewhere else in his head. He said, I left prosperity in there. And then Nightjar put his hand on Mr. Black's shoulder. I asked him why he wanted to go into the walled city so badly. That seemed to bring him back. When your old man opened his eyes, they were full of tears. Then he muttered something else I couldn't make out. Your daddy got real irritating after a while. I can imagine. She grabs a long, slim cigar from a pack on the mahjong table, lights it. Alright, let's get to it. You two need your sins burned, and you need them burned fast. Hong Kong dragnets are bad news. When they roll in force. Armored personnel carriers, heavy armor, heavy weapons, sorcerers, the whole thing. And they aren't coming to arrest you. The good news is, I can help you. With a wave of my hand, I can have your sins disappear. But you need to understand, my darlings, is that what you're asking for is not a simple request. Burning a sin isn't just deleting a number. It's wiping all reference to that number from all the world's largest databases. It's masking your mugshot in their facial recognition database so that the first camera you walk by doesn't bring them down on you like a ton of bricks. It's covering our fucking tracks so that the act of burning your sin doesn't lead them right to us. It requires contacts in numerous corporations and the UCAS government. It requires someone like me. Therefore, I need to make a choice. Takes another drag on a cigar and gently places her palm flat on the table. Do I kill you and dispose of your bodies before the cops come looking for you, or do I help you burn your sins? Well, we might as well use it if we got it. You may want to think about your rep as a fixer. 2 of your runners were taken down by the cops and you have no idea why. So clever. So clever. Her chin stays on her hand, but eyes look past you, surveying the Yellow Lotus soldiers in the room. Yes, I have been placed in a delicate situation, haven't I? Regardless, that's the situation, whether you're alive or you're sucking dirt. She stares at you for a long moment, chin still on hand, thinking. Taps her ash on the floor without taking her eyes off of you. A low, reluctant growl rumbles somewhere deep in her throat. You live. You're clever, and I like that. I'll put your sins to the torch. However, I'll need to call in some valuable favors, within my network to do it. And those favors do not come cheap. You will owe me. What do you want us to do? I want you to deliver a message for me to a business associate in the walled city. The Yellow Lotus has a strong presence inside. Kenny, Isabel can tell you all about it. Can't you, dear? Isabel grew up in the walled city. They collect taxes for the corporations, extort protection money from shopkeepers, run drugs, guns, people. They hurt people. We do those things, yes, but to be fair, we also operate the walled city's black market. You might not be alive today if it weren't for the lifeline that we provide. Isabel clams up tight. There is a red pole, a sort of enforcer, yes, on the inside. His name is Strangler Bao. Can't imagine how he got that name. Bao is a strong man, a good soldier, but he has forgotten his place. I need you to remind him. How are we supposed to do that? Tosses you a memory stick. This is my message for Bao. You will deliver it to him in my name, and then return to me. Remember that Bao's men are my men. By right, they should be all serving me. I would prefer it if you did this quietly and without killing them. I have no use for dead soldiers. One of you will go with these 2 Westerners to the walled city, help them locate Bao and show them the ropes. The other will remain here with me. I have several menial integrating tasks to be doing around the establishment. No matter who goes and who stays, you'll both pay for bringing an APB to my doorstep. Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. Now I'm going to find out who ordered the hit on Nightjar and do some dentistry on him with power tools. That boy was my favorite. He sang to me sometimes. That other one, I don't care about. Get shot was an asshole. That will be all, my darlings. Return to me when you are done. Deal. Well, we're still alive. That's something. That is indeed something. Alright, how much karma are we rocking at the moment? 11 points. So we'll have a quick look, see if there's anything we want to buff up. Quickness is definitely something to think about putting up. It reduces the chance to be hit by enemy attacks. Always important. Melee weapons, I could go deeper into that, but I don't think I will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Intelligence stuff, don't need to go too deep into that at the moment either. What do I get soon here? Quick stride, counter strike, lightning strike, mystic armor is pretty useful from what I remember. This brings in the question whether or not I start maxing my willpower primarily and chi casting. Or do I try for something else? Like, do I bump my strength and body up? Or my quickness up? It's tricky business. I don't need to worry about cyberware stuff because I won't be getting it as a mystic. But for this... Characters with dodge are less likely to be attacked than their teammates. That's pretty good. It's not bad. Body, I get a single point there. Strength, I could go a point there and a close combat boost. Gets me the Overwatch. And then I could go for another point here. Increases the chance of scoring a critical hit when using melee weapons or attack. Let's... I could put some points into spell casting if I felt like casting magic, but not at this moment. I think we save these 3 points for the moment. Either that or I put it into biotech. You know what? Biotech's actually a very useful skill, especially being able to see the enemy's hit points. And it's an extra... I think it's an extra 4 points of healing from a med pack, if I remember correctly. It's never easy to make these decisions. I'm gonna hold off on it for now. But I will keep the upgrade to strength and melee weapons. Strength, close combat, and melee weapons. Wait, no, I didn't get that point, no. It was just strength and close combat. Alright, it's good enough for Now. Now. Okay. And we'll throw down a save real quick. I can't remember if I could rename it. I could have sworn I could have. Oh, good enough. Let's go. Now, I can't remember if I was able to buy things yet. I don't think I was. I can talk to this guy. Show me what you're selling. And I'll get a katana. Do I? No, I'm gonna save my money. Always save the money. Because there's some big things worth getting later down the line that you can only really get. I'll have a look at this place with money. So you should have these heavy wires crank, the buzzing crackling operations, they stray drips from the awning, strike them. Alright, so we gotta go back over here to the walled city. I could talk to him, but he's going to tell me nothing interesting. Alright, Triad Guard. Looks like another dwarf and a cybered up human. The Fug taps his earpiece, gestures with his head. Auntie Shang said you'd be coming. You can pass. Uh-huh. Good to know we got a pass. Alright, and here's where we can choose a team. We'll always get this menu when we do a new mission. And these two spots will usually be yellow highlighted. But at the moment we're only allowed to take one. And because we only know two people that can come and help us, well, we get a choice between Isabel or Gobbet. Now I have said how much I just love Isabel and her grenade launcher, and a pretty good pistol as well. Silvergun's a pretty sweet gun in the RPG as well. Brock's mine is good, and the medkits are good, but in my last playthrough, I recently found a lot of good use for Gobbet. And she's a bit more easier to get around, I suppose, the walled city. As Auntie Sheng mentioned, Isabel did grow up in the city, and she didn't seem to react positively to that, having to mention that. So, we'll be doing her a favor and we'll be taking Gobbet with us. Gobbet, once again, has the spells. She doesn't have any healing kits, which is slightly problematic, but she makes up for it with utility of her spells, and these, the fetishes, and a single trauma kit. The fetishes let you do conjuring. The higher the force, the higher conjuring skill you need, and the tougher the elemental is. As you can see here, Gobbet comes equipped with 2 at a time, whereas Isabel brings 2 healing kits. This is sort of a bit better, but Isabel also brings grenade launcher and the Dickin kit, but I've made up my mind on this. So we're going to be traveling to the walled city, not the shitty, though it is pretty shitty. Yep. As we continue, we should get another wall of text. Hey, there we go. As you can see, tip, I reload current weapon. What to do what to fill up these periods of loading? I could talk about pointless bullshit, like how I recently managed to get placed in Silver 3 in League of Legends. No position change from last year. Can't say I was trying too hard though. Alright. So this is a menu where we can see our character properly, what gear we'll be coming loaded with, and as you can see, Duncan's got a few less supplies. That's just how it goes. But he will always come with 2 medkits, I believe. Just as Gobbet will always come with 2 fetish tokens and a trauma kit. We still got a grenade, but I think I'm going to give that to Duncan at the moment because he can make a better use out of it than I will. And in terms of that medkit, we'll pass it on to Gobbet just in case. Just in case. It's just the armor and clothing. Can't change those. Can only change ours, but even then. Alright. Go. We're ready. Foul, oily water runs down from above, mixes into the filth and offal and swill of the streets, turns it into a flowering slurry of unrecognizable sewage. In the distance, the sounds of back alley activity adds to the ambience at your arrival, breaking glass and crackling hiss of garbage fire. Faint screams of terror punctuated by the occasional gunshot. Sex and business and violence and misery blended into one. Wu winces at the stink. Raymond said that the prosperity is in the walled city. I don't see it. Why the hell would he want to set one foot in this place? You got me. As I said, the walled city is the worst slum in the eastern hemisphere. maybe in the world. There's something wrong with this place. It isn't just a slum, it feels poisonous somehow. On an astral level, it churns my stomach to even come near it. Alright, you were right. This ain't the Barrens. Feels, I don't know, thicker? Which way? The Lotus then. That's what Bao calls his little corner of hell. I don't know where it is offhand, but I have a way of finding things. A flurry of motion at her hip and a second pair of beady eyes appear. Gobbet shifts her hand from one rat to the other, stroking each in turn. They probably aren't expecting anyone to come in force. We can kick in the door, drop the guards, hand over the message, and get the hell out. Kindly doesn't want them dead. She wants them to remember where their loyalties lie. It's tough to remember much of anything when you've got a bullet in your head. And we could kill them if you really wanted to. Technically, Bao's the only one who has to live. But I'd rather keep Auntie Sheng happy than piss her off again. That's all up to them. If they don't try and kill us, we don't dust them. Got it. Let's get this done. Let's get this done indeed. And as they was talking about, yes, you can go full violent with this mission. But I won't be going that way. I'm going to try and keep it sort of... I'm aiming for perfection with this run. I've nearly achieved it in previous runs, besides a few muck-ups here and there. But aside from that, this should be good. A bedraggled old woman looks up from her sewing at the sound of your approach. Clothing, clothing, I've got good quality clothing for sale. And you ever heard anyone say prosperity is in the walled city? Prosperity? Prosperity? I don't know what that means. Oh. Well, that's the uneducated masses of the walled city for you. It's just a problem in Shadowrun. What's the news here? Anything interesting? Interesting? Here? Nothing changes. Nothing really changes. Strangler Bao is the big man now. He's very important. Very impatient. You know Bao? Hate the bastard. Me too. You know he requested a special suit from me? But when I got him to 1 day late, he wouldn't pay for it. I didn't sew for nothing. You can't eat air. That's rough. I know. You see him, you tell him where he still owes me for my time. I don't sew these hems for nothing. We'll get right on that. You see what you do. What else do you want? Ah, it's good. Walk away now. Inspect this pile of trash. Surprise, surprise. It's a pile of trash. Yep, now here's someone who's looked like they had it a bit rough. A young woman lies on the ground. Bloody mess, streaks and splatters of crimson crisscross her blouse and mat her hair. Judging by the quality of her clothing and the bag on her shoulders, you'd make her out as a student. She's as out of place as here as a librarian would be in a game of urban brawl. Struggles to move, but she's clearly exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes tell you that she hasn't slept in days. When the woman sees you heading her way, her face hardens. You see her hand slip into her jacket pocket, but as she studies your face, the fear in her eyes give way to curiosity. You guys don't look like you're from around here. Yeah, that's right, we're out of towners. Cool. That's cool. Predators. I'm okay though. The blood's theirs. Thought I'd rest here for a minute before I got back to work. I think you better get yourself checked out at a hospital. Work and wait. No, I'm not hurt. I'm just tired, and the only hospital I'm covered to use is the HQ campus clinic. Doing some research. Gotta finish before I can leave. This place is dangerous. What are you doing here alone? I wasn't alone. Well, until a few days ago. Another long, wet cough. Been living with a family in one of the inner blocks for the last couple of months, working on my master's thesis. Fun place to write a thesis. And it's the right place for mine. Thesis on feng shui in the 6th world. What's feng shui have to do with the slum? Everything, I think. Absolutely everything. Rich people hire geomancers to design the interiors of their homes, to attune them to achieve the right balance of harmony. The poor have nothing like that. Leave a slum to fester long enough and you get this. Stances at the surroundings, a look of profound disgust on her face. Think that the negative feng shui of the places like this affects the people who live here, that it changes them in a fundamental way, makes them less capable of breaking the cycle and getting out. That's what I'm trying to prove. Before the awakening, people thought of feng shui as a philosophical system. Now in the sixth world, it's more than that, and it's an actual form of magic. The whole thing revolves around qi, an invisible life energy that binds every person and thing together. It's very real here in Hong Kong. Nobody knows the reason why. Maybe it's only real because people believe that it is. The important thing is it's measurable, quantifiable phenomenon. That's an entire industry that's grown up around it. This doesn't look like a place where people are harmonized with anything. No, it isn't. Not at all. Feng Shui in the walled city is completely screwed. I mean, just look at the place. Appears wrong here. You can feel it, right? Felt that something was wrong the minute I walked in. Bad qi, huh? Yeah, bad feng shui. She needs to flow or it goes sour. Positive feng shui allows that to happen. The woman clears her throat and then lets out a hacking cough. The effort requires a moment for her to recover before she can speak again. You know, I hate to admit it, but I could use some help. Started running a, well, I guess you could call an experiment of sorts. Nothing conclusive, just a few quick trials to support my hypothesis before I go into hardcore data gathering mode. There are a few things left to do. If you could finish them for me, I could get out of here. Please follow the notes on the sheet. Just say what you need us to do. Need you to make adjustments to the area's feng shui. My notes will tell you how. The goal is to remove sources of friction and to record the results. My hypothesis is that even small adjustments can have a measurable impact on chi flow. If I'm right, it should improve and life here should just get a little better. You rest, I'll take care of it. Alright. Well, this is where we can go into mission items and actually see what we've been given. Along with the data stick given to us by Connie Sheng to be delivered to Strangler Val, we got the crumpled note. A list of repairs, most of them crossed off. There are some left, scrolled in an uneasy hand. Sparkling wires near a trinket man, broken water shut-off valve on the lower level, and burning tires past the market. So we'll have to keep an ear up, or an eye out for those, I guess. And if I'm right, one should be just over here. If you go up, there you go, there's a trinket man. And this would be our faulty wiring. Now hopefully I've got a good enough stat for this. Ah, yep, intelligence 2 was all that was required. Let's patch out the worn out coating. Quick patch job with some nearby waste rubber leaves the wires safe once more. He even stopped sparking. Let's talk to the merchant. See if he's got anything for us. I have a feeling he's just gonna say prosperity. What the hell is that? Yeah, so show me what you got. And this is what he's got. For the low price of 600 new yen, you could get yourself a force-free fire elemental fetish. Not something I'm willing to spend my money on. Still, it's useful if you're playing a summoner or a mage that goes into summoning. Alright, and this would be our first instance of choice. This is important. A lot of negative energy coming off of it. I don't think there's a spirit bound to it. Interesting. What can you tell me about the spirit? Oh, it's a ghost. Either that or a spirit of a man that thinks it's a ghost. It's hard to be sure. Whatever it is upset. I can feel its anger and sorrow from here, but that's all I can get away with it from its hiding like this. Alright. Coax it out of the cloth and talk with it if you want. Maybe it'll lead to something. Or maybe it'll rip out our souls. There's no way to tell without trying. Well, time to take a risk. Let's see what the spirit has to say. Takes a few moments, but there we go. Meatman gets summoned. The air above the bloody rags shimmers. Slowly, something close to man-shape coalesces into being. A soft voice echoes out from deep inside, as if to begin somewhere else. What is this? Where am I? You're dead. I'm sorry. I am? Raises a hand to examine them, blank eyes sweeping over dead flesh. How? What was the last thing you remember? The last thing? I was pushed out of my shop. Hunted through alleys, Bao! Bao and his men. I wouldn't pay them. Wouldn't accept their protection. Proud. I was too proud. They tore me apart. Butchered me like a duck. They... Searches the sky, the ground, tearing at the memories inside of itself. As it relieves its own death, a network of deep cuts opens its waxy skin, splattering black ichor on the ground. Cold light within it grows brighter, pulses up to the thing's throat and into its mouth, forcing its jaw to unhinge like a snake's. A burning radiance pours out of the spirit's mouth like vomit, splattering to the ground in an ectoplasmic flood of anger and despair. Maybe you can help us. Help? I can? You could get us past Bao's guards and into the walled city so we can find him. I had a friend. A smuggler of animals. He had a space. Hidden. Secret. Yes, Spirit. Tell me about the secret space. An entrance in the sublevels. A chute, a door, red painted numbers. 5465. 5465. Thank you, Spirit. 5465. 5465. 5465. Alright. That should hopefully make our job a little easier. But for now, that's where we'll leave it. As always, if you want more, keep watching. Ta-ta!